Welcome back to the Hockey Show. Now I'm here to talk about the games from last night and take a look at a bit of a recap. And I gotta be honest, I had a lot of predictions correct. And okay, let's just jump into it. So the Anaheim Ducks lose their third game of the season to the New York Rangers. Well, they don't lose their third game; they lose their third game. So they lose to the Rangers 4-6. Now, the thing about the Ducks is that what they want to happen is happening. Their young guys are developing and are playing strong. Guys like Troy Terry, guys like Zegras, they're getting goals, they're getting points. So right now I feel like the Ducks hopes, like if you are a fan of the Ducks, this is probably what you want. Your team isn't good enough to participate really yet. Maybe they somehow squeeze into a playoff spot, but you probably wouldn't want that. You probably still want maybe a top 10 lottery pick somewhere in there. Maybe make a couple trades for something like that. You want your young guys producing, but you're still developing your team together, right? And for right now, the Ducks is kind of what's happening. The young guys, Troy Terry, Zegras, these guys that are the wave of the future, are developing. They're getting points. So Terry with 2 points tonight, Zegras with his second of the year. So what they want to happen is probably exactly going to plan. Like maybe they win a game once in a while, but overall they just want their young guys to produce. The rest of the team can do whatever, and that's what's happening. So good job for the Ducks, kind of doing their job, really. They're doing what they probably want to happen. For the Rangers, they just keep going. They're now 3-1 for the season. Artemi Panarin and Zibanejad both with 4 points. Big night for the Rangers. I mean, this is kind of the game that you want as a fan, and kind of for these two teams. I mean, 6-4. You have a team with a bunch of young guys on it, really putting up a fight, those young guys trying to prove their names. The Rangers, a team that are trying to win a lot, and this is what you want: 6-4 entertaining game. So good job for the Rangers getting that one done. They move on to the next one, and they're big guys. Panarin finally really showed up tonight. I know he had some points already, but, I mean, whatever. Panarin's doing really good. Moving on to the game that I called. I called it. I said my whole point was that the Maple Leafs, they lost to the Canadiens. Maybe their deal is, overall, I would say they're kind of having a tough time getting the job done in general. And here they are, losing to the Arizona Coyotes from Mullet Arena. They didn't play in Mullet Arena, but that you get the point I'm trying to say here. They win 4-2, which I think I said 4-1 yesterday, and the game-winning goal scored by Shane Gostisbehere. I said beforehand that he's leading the team in points right now. He had a big season last year. He's still continuing that, and he gets 2 points. 2 points tonight, a goal and an assist for Shane Gostisbehere. Nick Ritchie as well, who played on the Maple Leafs, getting one goal tonight. So Nick Ritchie, I mean, some of the Coyotes, just some of their guys showing up, and this is kind of what you want from your team. The Coyotes are still losing. They still want to lose, and so they can get those bigger draft picks, especially Connor Bedard this season. But this is what they want, is to take down a couple of the big guy names, and as they add some more talent through the years, maybe they can beat the Maple Leafs now. What can they beat the Rangers in the future with their new additions? So big win for the Coyotes. And the thing about the Maple Leafs that confuses me is that the fact is that their big guys did show up, really. I mean, other than Matthews, which is kind of interesting, Nylander and Marner scored goals, and Tavares and Riley both had assists. So it's not like the big names didn't show up. They just lost this game to the Coyotes. And I called it. I saw it a mile away. This was the perfect game for the Maple Leafs to lose. So now they're 2-2, still having a rocky season. They had Cal Engren, whatever his name was, in net tonight, and he loses his game. So interesting times for the Maple Leafs. So I don't know. I might have to make a video covering them. I mean, it's only first week. They're 2-2. They lost to the Maple Leafs. I mean, the Canadiens and the Coyotes. So I guess it's really not that big cause of a concern. But whatever. Moving on to the Panthers versus the Bruins. Now for the Panthers, this was their real first challenge. This was their first real hard-hitting team that they had to come up against, and they come short. They lose 5-3 to the Bruins. Gustav Forsling, Bennett, and White all had a goal and an assist, I think, and they all had 2 points at least, and Matthew Tkachuk gets an assist tonight. And this didn't give me problems yesterday. Then the Bruins, Jason DeBrusk, he got 2 goals tonight. He had the game winner, I think, as well. Bergeron had 2 points. Connor Clifton with 2 points, and also Pasternak got his 2nd of the year. So the Bruins still continuing this streak, and I think what's going on here is, the best way I can put it is, when it comes to, like, maybe just in general, just in life, whenever, like, the top guys, I guess for my hockey team, but I also think about it on, like, TV shows, is that, like, when the hard-hitting players, like, the big names aren't there, so Marchand's out of the way, sometimes the team or whatever get better, because there are other guys that are going to get a chance to jump up in the lineup. A guy like DeBrusk, and there's going to be that power vacuum there. And it reminds me kind of like, especially in wrestling, but just kind of in life in general, when that person is gone, that hard hitter is out of the way, sometimes that new breath of fresh air from the same old kind of makes things better. And maybe that's just what's happening here, is they don't have Marchand right now, and McAvoy and Grishalik, and they bring in Krejci, and maybe it's just like the team without those guys, not that they're better without them, but just without them right now to start the season, and it just kind of makes a new dynamic on the team, and maybe it's just like a breath of fresh air for them, and as the season goes on, they can bring back Marchand, they bring back McAvoy and Grishalik, things will get back, and they'll get even better. So I think that's what's going on, is that they just kind of they're just kind of getting a breath of fresh air. It's like they're basically playing with a new team. Like, imagine if the Oilers started next season and they were missing McDavid and Nurse and Tyson Barrie. It would be like a completely different team. So I think it's just an interesting thing. But the Panthers come short in their first and real challenge, and the Bruins still undefeated, 3-0. So they just seem to be getting better and better. Moving on over to the other side of the board, we got the Penguins versus the Montreal Canadiens. Now for the Penguins, they come up short. They finally lose their first game of the season in overtime. And Malkin scores both of their goals tonight, so they lost 3-2. And also, what the hell does that say? Oh, Brian Rust with 2 points. He had the assists on both of them. And then the Canadiens, Suzuki, Doc, and Caulfield. Suzuki and Caulfield tie up the game in the third period. Kirby Doc gets the winner in overtime. So, good game for the Canadiens to win. I mean, it's an interesting core here, because the thing about the Coyotes is that they need to gather up those prospects to become good. The Canadiens now have those prospects. So now is kind of the time for them to start developing to become good. And it's kind of happening, so I'm kind of confused on what the Canadiens should want this year. Because the Coyotes you want to lose. You don't have those prospects on the team yet. You're getting them together. You got Cooley, you got Geeky, you got Gunther. They're all coming up, but they're not all there ready to play on the team yet. For the Canadiens, Suzuki and Caulfield, I mean, they're already NHL-ready guys. But then you also got Slavkovsky, obviously. You got Caden Goulet in the back. You got the guys' names that I can't pronounce. It's interesting. Like, they already have kind of those guys that will be the core of the team in the future. So it's kind of an interesting scenario right now there, and they win a game. So I don't know if they should want to win games or not win games. I mean, not the team itself. I know that the players want to win games, but I don't know if fans and management should or shouldn't want to win. Like, the Coyotes and the Blackhawks should want to lose because they need those young guys to come in. But for the Canadiens, they already have those young guys. So it's just an interesting time there. So moving on to a team that had absolutely no defense at all is the Vancouver Canucks versus the Capitals. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched the NHL highlights of it, and it was like watching one of my games. It was so bizarre. It was like they just didn't know any defense. And, like, sure, you could say, like, the Curtis Lazar goal, which was amazing. That was fantastic. I don't even know how he did that, really. But at the same time, that was cool that he could do that. But where was the defense? They were just letting him skate past them. Like, this was the weirdest game ever. There was no defense. There was no anything. It was so weird. And Ovechkin, he finally gets 2 in the net tonight, so he finally is on keeping up the streak, keeping up the record going. You also got Carlson finally pitching in to get a couple, he got a goal and an assist. And also for the Canucks, it's just that all three of their losses this year so far have been from multi-goal comebacks. They were winning at one point by multiple goals, and then the other team came back and won. I don't get it. It just makes no sense to me. This team does not know how to hold a lead. They come out fresh and hot, and then they just fall apart. It's just weird. They just disappear. And I've never seen anything like this before. But and then it was also weird in this game. The boards were made of a different material. That 2 goals off the boards and then a one-timer just past the goaltender. It was the weirdest game I've ever seen. So an odd one, but the Capitals win. They're 2-2 now, and Vancouver's still losing. So interesting. Moving on to the Kings versus the Red Wings. Now, the Red Wings lose this one. Their first game they lost this year in overtime, so they still get a point for every game so far. 4-5 to the Kings. The Kings, Philip Deneau, he had 2 goals tonight, as well as Anze Kopitar, Trevor Moore, and Fiala had 2 points. So the Kings, they getting the job done. They're getting the job done against these teams. The Kings are going to be that team that are going to fight their way into the playoffs. They're going to punch. They're going to crawl and punch and fight until the end, and trying to get into the playoffs. And I mean, it's interesting so far. They're 2-2, and as certain teams come along, I mean, they've had some tough competition. So when they finally get those matchups against the Coyotes, they can get some of those wins in. So the Kings, I don't know. I'm still kind of confused on what I think about them this year. And then the Red Wings, David Perron, he gets 2 goals and an assist. Kubalik with 2 assists, and also Sundqvist with I don't know, he had something. And that huge line, it's so cool. But anyways, the Kings win it. They're 2-2 now, and the Red Wings still get a point in every game so far. Moving on back to the other side for the final time, the Avalanche versus the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Avs, they win this one 6-3, so still the Wild don't know how to play defense. They stopped one more goal than usual from getting in, so they're getting a little better. Progress, I guess. I guess by game 20, they might finally get it down to 2 goals, and they can start trying to win some games. So the Avs now are 2-1 after this 6-3 victory over the Wild. I mean, Nichushkin with a goal, McKinnon with a goal, and 2 assists, as well as Cale Makar with 2 assists tonight. And for the Wild, I mean, just the biggest thing here. I mean, Kaprizov had 2 goals, whatever. Addison with 3 assists, that's kind of good. But the Wild, they have let in 20 goals in 3 games. I mean, this is unbelievable. My team never even did this. This team right here, we've never even done that. I don't know. I have no idea. This is such a bizarre thing for the Wild. And this is such a type of deal that this isn't something that it's oh, they're having a rough start to the season. These type of goals, and this momentum, there's just nothing going for them. And being a part of a team after 1 loss, if you lose 6-5 or something, even a loss like that is so bad for 1 game. But then you can come back with that fire. But after 3 games now of doing this, for them to get over that hump is going to be so hard for them mentally. I don't eat that. The morale in that locker room has got to be terrible. Just being a part of a loss where you lose 6-5 or something, or 8-4. One of those losses in a season, ruins you for a couple, for a week. And luckily, you have a week off to play the next one. But for an NHL team, this is going to be such a burden for them, because in the back of their mind, even if they start a game and they finish the first period and they're winning 1-0, the second period ends, they're winning 2-1 still. That little burning thought in the back of their mind, oh, just gotta keep it out of the net. It's gonna get to them. It's gonna get to them. Nerves are gonna be all out of whack, and they're gonna make mistakes, and it's gonna be a whole thing. I think the next game they play, or they're gonna get it down to 4, but I think my bet for the next game the Wild play is that they're going to have a good first 2 periods, and then third period they're going to get at least 3 goals scored on them. That's my call. I'm calling it right there. Third period. I don't know if they win or not. I don't know if they win the game, but that's my call, is that the other team will score 3 goals in the third period after the Wild have 2 good periods. So moving on to the Jets versus the opposite of the Minnesota Wild is the team that's only let a goal in each game of theirs. So they only have 3 goals in 3 games, and the Wild have 20 goals against in 3 games. So Jake Ottinger just still running the house. I think I even called this game being 4-1. It's insane. I called all of these games. But Mark Scheifele, he gets the 1 goal for the Jets, so he's continuing his strong play right now as well. And, I mean, Ehlers and Connor, so the big guys are still kicking. But this talk is Jake Ottinger being the amazing goaltender for the Stars. Miro Heiskanen gets his 2nd of the season. Marchman has 2 assists, as well as Sagan and Kiviranta getting goals tonight. So just all-around good game for the Stars. They're undefeated, a team that you wouldn't probably have guessed being that. And I don't know. I mean, it's just interesting that the Stars are the ones doing this. So 3-0, they still are, and they keep marching on. And now we have one more team that's 3-0. So on the board here, we have wait, is that it? Only 1, 2, 3. Is it only 3? Oh, I thought it was more than that. Well, okay, we got 3 teams on the board that are undefeated. So, and then we also have, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 teams undefeated in regulations. But anyways, moving on to a team that is 3-0 is the Carolina Hurricanes. So the Hurricanes win it 5-1 against the Seattle Kraken. Sebastian Aho and Svechnikov both with 3 points. Aho with 3 and a goal and an assist, and Svechnikov with 2 goals and an assist, as well as Seth Jarvis getting on the board, continuing his good place from last season. So the Canes win. This is a game that I didn't see Seattle winning at all. Just the Canes are too well-around strong. Burns had an assist, so a good win for the Canes. And they're cracking their guy, Burakovsky, getting a goal. They're bringing in guys. The Kraken are kind of doing what you would want them to do. They're kind of like the Ducks. I feel like what they want to happen is happening. So I guess good job for the Kraken as well. But that's all I have to say about this recap for this video. I'm still getting my structure down of how to make these boards and stuff and how I'm supposed to do these. The annoying part is that there's 9 games every single freaking day. When there's 3 games, I'll be able to cover them forever. But with 9 games, I just don't know what, there's so much information to take in. So when there's finally like 3 games like there will be on Wednesday, I'll be able to tell you everything there is to know about them. But just with 9 games, it's just way too many. So thank you for watching this. If you've enjoyed this video, please pick up your free subscription by hitting that red subscribe button. If you like this video, leave a like, not a dislike, but go down below to the comment section and tell me how stupid I am. Tell me just how stupid is this guy right here. Tell me how that down below. And until next time, I've been your alligator-dressed, shirted host, Owen. Too sweet. I hope you're having an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.